Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a strategy that modern businesses are using to move way beyond just finding new customers. We're talking about how to build a real, sustainable growth engine.
So let's start with a really important question for any founder or marketing leader out there. Is your marketing a funnel, or is it more like a sieve? Think about it. Are all those dollars you're spending actually bringing in a steady stream of customers, or are they just leaking out through cracks you might not even see?
You know, for the longest time, marketing was just a sprint, and the finish line was always the sale. That old, campaign-based model, super expensive and really short-sighted. But today, the companies that are really winning have shifted to a full funnel system. They're focused not on the one-time cost, but on the long-term customer lifetime value, or LTV.
Okay, so let's dig into why that old way of doing things is just, well, it's broken. It creates this fragmented, leaky system that honestly just can't keep up in today's world.
I mean, the whole idea was so transactional, right? Marketing's job was to get a click, have someone fill out a form, and then toss it over the wall to sales. Job done. But that assembly line approach completely ignores what happens after the contract is signed, and that's exactly where so much of the value gets lost.
All right, so what's the fix? Well, it's a total shift in perspective. It's about moving to a cohesive strategy that covers the entire customer lifecycle. And a strategy that big? Yeah, that usually needs an expert guide.
So, let's get specific. What exactly is full funnel marketing? And trust me, it's not just another buzzword. It's a truly integrated system, designed from the ground up to cover everything, from the first time someone hears about you, all the way through to retention and beyond. The whole point is to create a smooth, connected path, not a series of disconnected hurdles for people to jump over.
And who's the architect of a system like this? Well, more and more, it's a fractional CMO. Now, what's that? Think of it as a top-tier marketing strategist, someone who brings that C-suite level vision to design and manage the entire funnel. They align all the moving parts, but without the company having to bring on a full-time, big-salary executive.
Okay, so let's really dive in and see what this new and improved funnel actually looks like when you put it into practice. We're going to walk through the whole customer journey, step by step.
So, the main acquisition journey breaks down into 3 classic stages. You've probably heard the acronyms TOFU, MOFU, and BOFU. That's top, middle, and bottom of the funnel. But here's the thing. In a full funnel model, how you approach each of these stages is way more strategic.
So let's start at the top. TOFU. Here, we're not just yelling into the wind trying to get vanity metrics like likes and shares. No way. The goal is qualified awareness. That means we're zeroing in on high ROI channels and crafting messages that solve a real, active problem for a super specific audience. It's all about getting the right people in the door from the very beginning.
All right, now we're in the middle of the funnel, MOFU. This is where we take that initial curiosity and guide it towards some real evaluation. This is where you build trust. So instead of a hard sell, you offer something genuinely valuable, maybe a deep dive ebook or a handy calculator. You use that engagement to start a conversation, a nurture sequence, and you gently guide them towards seeing your product as the solution.
And finally, we get to the bottom, BOFU. Here, the goal is simple, close the deal. But we do it by providing total clarity and a sense of reassurance. This means arming the sales team with what they need, things like powerful case studies, and making sure those final steps, whether it's a free trial or the final purchase, are as smooth and frictionless as possible.
But, and this is the absolute key, the game-changing shift. In a real full funnel strategy, closing that deal is not the end of the story. In fact, it's just the beginning of what's often the most profitable part of the entire relationship.
And that really is the key takeaway. Think about it. Acquiring a brand new customer is almost always the most expensive thing you do in marketing. The real, sustainable growth, that happens after that first sale. This is what retention is all about. It's about unlocking that customer lifetime value. Because when you keep customers happy, they don't just stay. They become your best salespeople. They create advocates who feed new people right back into the top of your funnel. Plus, they're the perfect audience for upsells, and they give you priceless feedback to make your product even better. You see, it creates this powerful, self-fueling growth loop.
And of course, none of this is magic. It doesn't work without data. You've heard the saying a million times, you can't improve what you don't measure. And it's a cliche for a reason. It's true. Without solid measurement, you don't have a growth engine. You just have a bunch of random marketing activities. To make this system really hum, you have to track and optimize every single stage.
And that focus on data means we also have to change what we measure. We have to move past those old vanity numbers, like how many clicks we got.
Instead, we start tracking the KPIs that connect directly to revenue. We're talking about things like the quality of our leads, the real cost to acquire a customer, and maybe most importantly, that customer's lifetime value.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But let's look at a quick, real-world case study of how this full funnel strategy completely turned a business around.
So, meet Quick Ink. They're a print-on-demand platform. Now, they had a great product, and people were actually searching for what they offered. The problem was, all that interest wasn't turning into a predictable pipeline of customers. Their funnel was, you guessed it, leaky.
So here's what happened. A full funnel approach was put in place. Step 1, they mapped out what their ideal customers were actually searching for and created content that answered those exact questions. Step 2, they took that same audience and ran super targeted ads to them on LinkedIn. But, and this is the crucial part, Step 3, they used analytics to tie it all together, shifting the budget in real time to whatever was performing best.
And the results? They really speak for themselves. Quick Ink quickly became a recognized authority in their space. Their organic traffic didn't just grow, it started converting better. Their ads got more effective. The bottom line is the entire funnel got healthier and more productive. It wasn't about improving just one little piece, the whole engine got stronger. All right, so we've gone through the problem, the solution, the stages, and a case study. What's the big takeaway for your business? It really comes down to this. You have to shift your mindset. Stop thinking in terms of separate, one-and-done campaigns. The future of real, sustainable growth is about building a single, integrated growth engine, one that covers the entire customer lifecycle, from that very first click all the way to them becoming a loyal fan.
So we'll leave you with the same question we started with, but maybe it hits a little different now. Take a real, honest look at your own marketing. Is it just a series of disconnected activities? Or are you truly building an engine designed for sustainable long-term growth? Because the answer to that question could change everything.